The newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Slain attorney Laylo's family is calling for justice as they laid him to rest in Manila. Meanwhile, the Justice Department promises to keep the pressure on U.S. officials to ensure that Laylo's killer is put behind bars. Faith Del Mundo tells us more in this report.
Laylo, mother of attorney John Albert Laylo, tries to be strong as she mourns her son who fell victim to a shooting incident in Philadelphia, USA on June 20. Leia is even more traumatized since she saw the killing firsthand.
Kitang-kita ko lahat, pati yung huling hininga ng anak ko, pati yung mangingisay ng katawan niya. Very unforgettable. Kaya nga, hindi ako makatulog without sleeping pills. So, I'll be seeking professional help. Very traumatic sa family ko. I will miss everything.
Jal's family is calling for justice, and authorities say there are currently 3 persons of interest. Recall that they were on board an Uber vehicle when a still unidentified assailant shot at them. Leia sustained minor injuries following the shooting, but Jal, who was shot in the head, was pronounced brain dead after being placed on life support. Leia's calls on the assailant to surrender to the authorities.
I want you to surrender, give justice to my son because you killed an innocent man who's just having fun with his mother. He doesn't deserve this. Please come out. Yung case, it's important. More than monetary. We want justice. Justice.
For their part, the Justice Department promises to monitor the case.
I told the family that I will write a letter to the Attorney General of the U.S., to my counterpart, so that the investigation should push through and that they will find the perpetrators. At least we can have justice.
Migrant Workers Secretary Toots Oples said Jal was supposed to work in the department and also vowed to follow the case closely.
I discussed with the family that I offered to help them reach out to the new Foreign Affairs Secretary, Secretary Manalo, just so they can appeal to the DFA for continuous, wala na yung parents na nandun sa US to keep the pressure on.
Jal was a staff of former Senator Laila de Lima and was among the lawyers of former Vice President Leni Robredo's Election Board of Canvassers. Jal's remains are currently laid in La Funeraria Pass in Manila and is scheduled for cremation. For News 5, Faith Del Mundo, we are One News.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi will be visiting the country next week. This is part of the multi-stop trip to various Southeast Asian countries, including Thailand, Malaysia, and Myanmar. Now, after this, Wang will also attend the G20 Foreign Ministries meeting in Indonesia and some meetings in Vietnam and Cambodia. Wang is expected to meet with Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo, but other details of his visit are yet to be released. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Albay Representative Edsel Lagman has filed a bill that seeks to mandate tax education in schools. Dagman says the proposed bill, which he calls the Tax Consciousness and Responsibility Act, seeks to educate children on tax-related matters starting from middle school, both in public and private institutions. He added that this bill will be helpful in efforts to accelerate economic recovery through tax collection. Supreme Court Chief Justice Alexander Esmundo urges the Sandigan Bayan to get with the times and embrace technology. Speaking at the 44th anniversary of the Graft Court, the Chief Justice discussed his strategic plan for judicial innovations where the organizational structure of the judiciary will be assessed. He also called on the Sandigan Bayan to use technology to help the judiciary achieve efficiency, innovation, and access. And he said he hopes this change grows into the Graft Court for the betterment of the country. Now, Lucy Torres takes her oath of office as Ormoc City Mayor as the city finally gets to celebrate its Piña Festival. Laylo has the report.
Over 2 years since the pandemic began, Ormoc City finally celebrated its Piña Festival this year. Colorful Pineapple Festival-themed floats paraded the streets of Ormoc to the delight of residents. Each float had its own Piña Festival queen that later on vied for the same title. But because there are still restrictions due to the pandemic, this year's festival was low-key compared to its predecessors.
Due to the pandemic, walang street dancing.
Ormoc City LGU, on the other hand, made sure that this year's festival would not be a super spreader.
Itong Piña Festival na to, kinonvince lang ako nung Cultural Foundation. Sabi niya, baka pwede na mag-Piña Festival mga 3 months ago. Sabi ko, medyo may problema pa yung COVID eh. Mas importante naka-shot sila, naka-booster sila.
The lechon gumbira made the fiesta even more special. After all, what is a festival without lechon? 12 roasted pigs made by the best Ormocanon lechoneros were judged in search for the best tasting lechon of the city. After this, portions of the lechon were raffled off to residents. This is also the city's way of thanking their patrons, Saints Peter and Paul, for finally sparing them from the African swine fever.
It is a 190 pesos billion industry. Good to note that ang atong syudad sa Ormoc, free na siya sa ASF.
To cap the fiesta, the inauguration of the new city mayor was also held at the Ormoc Astrodome. Richard Gomez, outgoing mayor of Ormoc and elected congressman for the 4th District of Leyte, led the ceremonial awarding of rings to all outgoing officials. The crowd went wild as Goma handed the ring to wife Lucy, wedding proposal style. The power couple will be trading places. Lucy is the new city mayor, while husband Richard lands a congressional seat. Gomez says that there is so much work to be done in the 4th District. Among his plans is to make it drug-free and to restore peace and order to the district. Restoring tourism, which took a long break because of the pandemic, is also in his agenda.
I will work hard and do my best, like what I always do, to bring the needed projects and programs that can make a difference in the lives of each and every citizen of our district.
On the other hand, in Lucy's inaugural speech, after being in Congress for 4 terms, Torres Gomez announced to her fellow Ormocanons that she is finally home to serve the city.
I accept as your congresswoman to assume my role as your mayor. Thank you for the honor you have afforded me to serve, to make a difference, to make our city beautiful.
Torres Gomez, along with their development team, says they aim to fortify communication and infrastructures, provide quality and free education, and create a healthier city. Congressman Richard Gomez also gave a welcoming present to wife Lucy before he finally left the City Hall and says that it's a must to wear at all times.
Ako'y pabawon sa imo. Wear this every day when you go to office. Imo ni office ID.
For News News 5, Laylo Pangilinan. We are One News.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 1:30 in the afternoon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.